Whether you're an expat here in Vietnam or you're living in your home country, you're probably always thinking about the future. And when it comes to long-term savings, where do you even begin? So that's where our partner Tenzing Pacific can really help you. One of the benefits of living in Vietnam is the cost of living is more affordable, so it often means that you have an increased amount of disposable income. And if you've got disposable income, how do you make the most of that extra cash to help you build a solid financial future? With Tenzing Pacific, you can start investing for as little as $250 a month. And they work with international providers, giving you access to world-class investment managers and global brands that you know. And one of the best things about investing is it's all about getting rich in the future. And by investing just $500 a month for 5 years, with a standard 8% annual return, you could end up with over $250,000 after 30 years, which is not bad for actually only investing $30,000. Now, I know 30 years sounds like a long time, but I've been in Vietnam for 8 and I feel like I got here yesterday. It's not that long. And that is the power of consistent investing. So are you ready to secure your future with the world's leading investment opportunities? Then talk to a Tenzing advisor today and find out how easy it is to start saving. Click the link in the description to get started and access special offers for a Vietnam podcast. And our partner, Seven Bridges Brewing Company, has just been crowned Champion Brewery of Vietnam at the 2024 Asia Beer Championship. And not only that, 4 of their beers have won 2 gold medals at international competitions. Well done to all those guys and their team. That is absolutely incredible. But as you may know about Seven Bridges, it's not just about the beer. They are committed to sustainability, which I absolutely love. And their brewing is with a focus on making a positive impact. So they reuse a lot of their ingredients in things like their pizza dough and their amazing spicy dragon sauce. So it means that you can enjoy a great beer and support a company that cares about the environment. So if you're hungry and you're a little bit thirsty, then they've got you covered with some of the best pizza that goes with their spicy dragon sauce and my favorite drink, the Hai Van Haze. So cheers to good beer, good food, and doing good. Get yourself down to Seven Bridges Brewing Company, wherever you can find them in Vietnam. And most importantly, when you do go, make sure you invite me if you're in Saigon, and I'll see you there for a beer. This is f***ing insane, I'm not gonna lie. But it is this special energy about Saigon that you just gotta love and you gotta give into it. Risking my life by getting on a bike with someone I've never met before, getting on the back of his bike and just trust that he's gonna drive me to where I'm going. Welcome to another episode of the Saigon Sunday Sessions on a Vietnam podcast. And this is me, your host, Niall Mackay. This is a bit of a random Sunday Sessions, and it kind of encapsulates what I want the Sunday Sessions to be about. If you've been listening already, thank you very much, and you'll know that they are a much more casual, random conversation. Often I'll just have my microphones with me, and I'll just be like, hey, let's do a Sunday session, and we'll record something. We just want to share more about the real life in Saigon. And so on this one, this is one of the most random ones I'll do. I was going on a bike from An Phu to D7 to hang out with friends. And it's quite a distance on a bike. It wasn't as long as I thought, but it's quite a distance. And as I was driving, I thought, why don't I just get the microphone out and start recording and talk to the microphone, which I don't normally do very often. I started it a while ago, but I've not done it in a while. I thought, hey, let's just do it. And it's worth sharing, I think. I had a bit of a chat with you through the microphone. So have a listen to this Saigon Sunday Sessions with me on the back of a bike. So as you can imagine, being on the back of a bike, the sound isn't that great. It's a bit windy. I've put on some post-production that makes the sound better, but in places it makes the sound crackly and maybe sound a little bit weird. So I apologize about that, but it sounds better than the original because the original was really bad. So I hope you enjoy this. If you get any ideas for a Saigon Sunday session or things to talk about, then make sure you send me a message, go to Instagram or Facebook, or email me, neil@7millionbikes.com. And don't forget, join the Patreon at patreon.com/a Vietnam podcast. Become a Bups out there and become part of the Vietnam podcast community. All right, enjoy the episode. Apologies for the sound quality, but I hope you enjoy it. And I was recording myself on my camera, so The episode is on YouTube. I hate to say that. It pains me because when I started podcasting, I was a staunch audio-only podcaster, and I've succumbed and I've given in, and I do now do video as well. I try to make all the episodes fit for audio and video, but on this episode, I am on the back of a bike and I am talking about what I'm seeing. So I would recommend go to the YouTube channel, A Vietnam Podcast, and you can also watch the video on there as well, and you can see what I'm talking about as well. Or if you just want to hear my lovely Scottish accent and my voice on the back of a bike, keep on listening. Cheers. I was on the bike and I got a little bit bored, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to grab my camera, I'm going to grab my microphone. I set this up on the back of the Grab, which is pretty cool. I was very careful. I was very worried I was going to drop either my phone or the microphone. And when Adri sees or hears this episode, she's going to be pretty furious that I did that with all this equipment. But I managed it. To be honest, half of it I did when we stopped at a light. When you stop at a light in Saigon, it's often a long light. And I thought I'd take this opportunity to record an extra special episode of the Saigon Sunday Sessions. This is the first episode I've done all by myself. All the Saigon Sunday Sessions with a group of people. I thought I'm on a bike, so to go from where I live in Anfu all the way to District 7, it takes about 30 minutes. This is going to be a long drive. And I was like, fuck it. Let's do a recording. I'm not 100% sure why my driver has taken me this way. If you know Saigon, we were about to go through the tunnel, which would have taken us into District 1 and then District 4, but instead now we are on Ton Duc Tang, one of the busiest streets in Saigon at this time of night, and let's just enjoy the rides. Right now we're going by the Meridian Hotel, VP Bank, the Nexus, which is one of the newest buildings. You can see behind me the on-ramp to the new Bison Bridge. I talked about it a lot, and if you're listening and you're an expat or you're Vietnamese and you live here, you may understand what I'm saying. If you're thinking of coming here or you've been here for a visit, you probably also know what I'm saying. There is such an energy about this city, and this is part of it. I don't think there's any other cities in the world, not that I know of, that have this energy right now. Saturday night, 7 o'clock, people are out all over the place. I should be wearing my pollution mask and I forgot to put it on. Don't tell Adri, but she's going to find out when she listens to it. Then we got on the other side of the river, which was a swamp. We got here, there was nothing there. Now we have massive high-rises. We have this advertising building, which is really cool. It's see-through during the day, so you can't see it. And then at night, you can see it very clearly. As I said, I should have my mask on right now, and these people are just having an egg coffee, chilling out right by this massive highway. I would say this is arguably the dead centre of Saigon, the Chung Hung Dao roundabout, which has recently been done up. It's really nice now. This is fucking insane, I'm not gonna lie. We're about to do I could never imagine doing this back home at all. But it is this special energy about Saigon that you just gotta love, and you gotta give into it. You know, this helmet I'm wearing is probably not good for anything. I get worried when I put it on. I think, you know, if I fall off this bike, there's a good chance that this helmet's just gonna split in two. Risking my life by getting on a bike with someone I've never met before, get on the back of his bike and just trust that he's going to drive me to where I'm going. But it just worked somehow. Don't understand why. I thought I might as well film this while I go through Saigon, give you a bit of a Tiki tour of what Saigon is like, whether you've been here or whether you've lived here or whether you're thinking of coming here. One of the things I would recommend is if you are visiting, get on the back of a bike. It is one of the coolest things to do. So I've talked about it before. It took me 3 months after we got here to actually finally get on a bike, even though I'd been on bikes before. Because of this, that's fucking mental. But it just worked somehow, so when we got here, I was like, there's no way I'm getting on a bike. And then eventually I got to get on a bike. It's the only way to get about. It's easier, it's quicker, and you know, it's comfortable enough that I'm sitting on the back of a stranger's bike right now, filming myself talking. There's someone just walking across the street right there with a kid on his back, walking across a 3-lane, 3 lanes on each side, just walks across. This is something that you can't do in many other places. We're about to pass the building. I've never had a hatred for a building, but I hate this building. So when we first got here, we walked by that building. Actually, our first week, but I can't remember. And me and you were like, oh, what's happening with this building? They must be finishing it. I fucking love this city. 2 people just driving behind me, shouting, what's your name? Driving right on behind me so they can be on camera. So we've just crossed over the river. We're into District 4 now, where we used to live. There's a Foot Long, which is one of the best names for a restaurant. Foot Long, if you're from the UK or the West, you probably go like Foot Long, but it's Foot Long. But that building I was just talking about, when we moved here, classic karaoke going on. When we first moved here, we walked by it and we're like, oh, that building must be getting finished. And we were looking at it and AJ saw like the lift moving. We're like, oh yeah, the lift's moving. They must be doing some work on it. That was 8 years ago, 8.5 years ago. Still nothing's changed, nothing's happening. It must be one of the biggest prime real estate spots in all of Saigon, maybe all of Southeast Asia. It's the bottom of Han Ye, corner of Don Nok Tang. It couldn't be more central, couldn't be more amazing. They've already, looks like it's finished to the top. I actually don't know the full reason, but they stopped building it and it's never been restarted. And it's just, please knock it down. It's an eyesore from all over the city. No matter where you are, you see it. They've tarted it up, as you saw the Vietnam flag on it there, or if you're listening to this, you wouldn't have seen it, but they've put all lights on one side of it, which has the Vietnam flag, so it looks good and it makes you think that something's happening, but nothing's happening. They're not doing anything. I've heard people say that because it's been so battered by the weather over the years and it's compromised, so it can't actually be built on. This is my old street here, my old building there. So you go through the heart of D4. You gotta love D4. It's a special place. It's so different to the rest of Saigon. As we barrel through, you can see here. Yeah, apparently it's never going to be finished. I mean, I don't understand economics. I don't understand the economics of construction. How can you nearly finish a building in front of the best real estate spot in Saigon and just leave it unfinished? I don't understand why someone in the authorities doesn't come in and say, right, whoever started this building, you're going to pay to knock it down, demolish it so we can sell the land, we can start again. It's absolutely mental. But right now we're skirting along the edge of D4. We won't go through it completely. And I know, and we've talked about it extensively on this podcast as well, about how friendly Vietnamese people are, how lovely they are. And I think that was an example there. You saw people on a bike, they just suddenly saw that I had a camera and they stopped to wait, to talk to you. There's never a threat of violence. You know, I feel like where I'm from, Scotland, we were back in Scotland last July, and so if anyone's like, you're being over the top, there is a threat of violence in Scotland, I think, all the time. So we were there, me being Adrian and we went into this bar in the city centre of Glasgow, and this really nice, not like fancy, but a nice, just local Scottish bar. And we went to see Scotland against Georgia. We won 3-0, I think. So it's not Rangers Celtic, not Hibs Hearts, not Rangers Hearts, not Rangers Hibs. Everyone's cheering on the same team. We're all cheering on Scotland, right? And then the bar closed, which was pretty early, I thought. The bar closed at 10 o'clock. I didn't realise the bars in Scotland closed that early. They called last orders. And then obviously somebody wanted to keep drinking, as we all do. And they reached over the bar, tried to pour themselves a drink. Obviously it's a big no-no in most countries. Scotland, where the rules are super strict, and it's going to be the bar and the bar staff that get penalised. They obviously get quite angry and they tell the guy to stop it. But the guy being a drunk Scottish guy, drunk Glaswegian, takes umbrage at that. Just to keep you up to date with where we are, we're just about to cross over another bridge, leaving District 4 to head into D7, getting quite close to where we're going. So I finished my story. So the guy got really angry and it turned into a bit of a shout match, a pushing match. He was pushing a woman, someone else jumped in. It was nothing like, super violent but aggressive. And me and Adrian just like, what is going on? Just trying to have a good night out. What's Scotland playing? Winning 3-0. And the guy eventually leaves the bar, and as he's leaving the bar, he's walking out, and he throws in all of his coins and all of his money into the bar. He's like, here's your change. And his coins, I don't know what they were, but his coins bounce all over the place. It's quite an aggressive act. And then even just last week, I saw a reel on Instagram of a fight outside a pub between two women at that same bar as well. So you go to somewhere like Glasgow, there's definitely a threat of violence in the air. I never got in a fight when I lived there, but I had a friend who got beaten up just for looking at the wrong person at the wrong time. And my point is, here in Saigon, I've never felt that threat of violence. You go looking for violence, you're going to get it. Just go looking for a fight, you're going to get it. In Glasgow, I feel sometimes you don't go looking for a fight, you might still end up getting it. Here the people are lovely, they're so friendly. And I think that was a good example there of the people going back and just talking to you and saying hello on the bike. So yeah, the longer I live here, the more and more I enjoy it. If I've had my ups and downs, as we see people honking in a massive bus going by. Well, nearly here, I've survived, I haven't come off. I'm going to selling lottery tickets. There's so much about this country I don't understand. But as an expat, I love it, can't complain. And yeah, sorry, as I said, I've had my ups and downs, especially in the beginning when it was tough. But living here now, it's definitely an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be in Vietnam, even if you weren't here during this economic boom, and we are going through an economic boom. There's just something special about this country that makes you want to live here and makes you love living here so much. It's not just because it's cheap, to be honest. I know everyone thinks Vietnam is cheap. I mean, that helps, but it's not something I think about day to day. It's not something I ever really think about. And maybe because it is cheap, I don't think about it, I don't know. If I was back in New Zealand, I would be making probably 4 times the money that I make now. So even though it's 4 times cheaper here, I'd be making 4 times the money. And I think that's easy to forget. And there are some people that live here in Vietnam that are making Western salaries. They're making the same money back home but living in Vietnam. I think that's not everyone. And those people are very lucky. And they generally people are very lucky. We were at a fundraising event last week to raise money for Blue Dragon and Hurricane Yagi. And the woman, she got up on microphone, amazing Aussie woman who was just like, she was like, we all have a good life here, we need to get more money. I think that night ended up raising 56 million from a small group of expats. So people do their stuff. Yeah, don't worry. So we're here now. Thank you very much. Okay, sir. Come on. There you go. Cheers. All right. Hopefully Adri's here already. She should be. She left before me. So we're going to go meet Paul and Krista. Didn't take that long. It took 16 minutes from Bison Bridge to get to D7. It's just a special monologue episode of the Saigon Sunday session, so I hope you enjoyed that. Have a good night. Cheers.